Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another amazing episode of the Crave Show. This is Kenny K, the Wine Czar, coming at you from San Diego. And with me, I've got my two incredible co-hosts. I got the tornado from Plano, Lisa Delano. She's becoming the new Wine Czar, but we'll talk about that later. And then I got my main man, Steve, who put me on the map in Dallas, Doyle. Steve, thank you very much for being here today. Steve, why don't you tell us what we're doing?
All right, we have Bob Sambol on our show today. We'll be talking to him a little bit later. And Lisa is going to be giving us a little wine review. And I believe you're going to tell us all about some places you like in Vegas.
Absolutely.
So that's going to be our show today.
Okay,
we also have Kyle Hilla, bartender extraordinaire, who will be telling us a little bit about Teeling whiskey.
Nice. Very nice.
There you go.
All right. Well, let's turn this over to Lisa. Lisa, educate us and make our palates better.
Guys, I wish that I could be drinking wine with you this week because, believe it or not, the two of you get much more tolerable when I'm drinking during our show. But unfortunately, I had a little run-in with a health issue this week. I'm on the mend. I'm doing okay. I ended up in the ER with a kidney infection.
Oh,
so
wow.
I had to drink more water out of my Star Wars cup. But that's not going to stop me from telling you guys about some amazing wines, especially as we're approaching the summer months and heating up. The longest day of the year is approaching, the summer solstice. So we got to get ready for these hot Texas summers and making wines that go with, all the grazing and the scenes around the poolside and the Louis Bouche that we like to serve at the house when we have guests over. So what I've done this week is picked you a beautiful rosé made from Pinot Noir. It's made on the Sonoma coast. And the really cool thing about this wine is it is a single vineyard Pinot Noir rosé. Now you're going to notice on the bottle that it says Pinot Noir Blanc. The term rosé can be used kind of loosely to describe many wines that use many different processes to obtain this pink color. But the main thing to know is that all grapes, for the most part, on the inside are clear. There are a few exceptions, but they're very few. So all grapes on the inside are clear. The way that wines obtain their color is from grape skins. So we press off that clear juice, and often we'll return those grape skins to that clear juice to pick up some color. But what Pinot Noir Blanc really means is that all of this color happened naturally just from pressing off the fruit. So we didn't do any further method to obtain this pretty pink color. This wine is called Belleglase Rosé or Oil de Padre. And an interesting thing about this Oil de Padre, which means Eye of the Partridge, is that was the first wine ever made at Camus Vineyards. When Camus started, it wasn't a Cabernet house. The very first wine that they made, and for the first several years, was a rosé called Oil de Padre. So this is Belleglase Rosé. This was done in homage to Joe Wagner, who is the son of Chuck Wagner, who started Camus Cabernet. This was done in homage to his grandmother. She passed away from breast cancer, and it doesn't disclose it on the bottle, but $1 of every bottle of Belleglase Rosé does go to breast cancer research too. So on the palate, you're going to get really bright strawberries, really pretty crisp acid, and then it kind of finishes with this creamy mouthfeel. I think it's like a strawberries and cream flavor that I would describe this wine, but beautiful zippy, zingy acidity, really fresh, bright fruit, and just a nice little roundness in the palate when you finish this wine. So you can find this at a few local retailers. Central Market carries it, Market Street, and Total Wine carry it. But beyond that, you could find this at a fine wine retail shop anywhere in your neighborhood where you might have a favorite somm on staff.
That's wonderful. That's fantastic.
What's the retail on that, Lisa?
Retail on this is average about $25. Okay. If you're lucky, you might be able to find it closer to 20, but $25 is certainly an appropriate price for that wine.
That sounds fantastic. Thank you so much for that. Well, education too, like that.
We're all clear on the inside, Steve. We're all clear on the inside.
Right. All right, Kenny, tell us about your experiences in Vegas. Have you gone to Vegas yet?
Well, as you may or may not know, Vegas officially opens tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Good.
I will be there at 9:59 a.m.
This show will be seen next week, so tomorrow is the 5th?
Tomorrow's the 4th.
The 4th, yeah, the 4th.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I'll be there at the Bellagio Casino doing my thing with Big Johnny. And, yeah, we're sort of fired up. Half the restaurants are open. Vegas has been flooded with reservations, which is a good sign for the economy. And hopefully there's no more crazy riots or looting, and things just remain peaceful like they have in the last few days. So that's a good sign for this country. But I want to talk to everybody today about a New York joint that wound up in the Aria Hotel. This is my favorite Italian restaurant in Vegas by a mile. It's probably in my top 5 restaurants in Vegas overall. It's called Carbone. If you haven't been to the original in New York, don't sweat it. Go to Vegas and go to this place. It's amazing. First of all, you walk in. The room is incredible. There are actually 2 rooms. You want to sit where the bar is because there's 15 tables. It's the black and white tile floor, total New York vibe. The back, which is a little more private and quiet in case you're married and you have your girlfriend with you. Not that I know any guys who would ever do anything like that. It's a little more private back there, a little more subdued. Frank Sinatra, Tony Bennett, Dean Martin, cranking on the stereo. But here's what I love about this place. You walk in, they put a block of Parmesan cheese on the table, soppressata, olives, and some other little roasted peppers and olives. It's ridiculous to start, okay? The service, the food, impeccable. I'm just going to give you a couple of highlights that I'm nuts about. The carpaccio dish they have, Piedmontese, very, very nice. Believe it or not, the shrimp scampi, simple dish, incredible. One thing I love about Carbone, they're not trying to reinvent Italian food. This is the Italian food that I grew up with in Brooklyn. Nothing really crazy. It's not overly chef's driven. It's just rock solid Italian food. They do have one signature salad. Believe it or not, it's the Caesar salad. They put so much garlic in the salad, you cannot go out afterwards. You eat the salad, just go home. Nobody wants to be around you. It's absolutely delicious. Most of the pastas are made in-house. They're really good. And again, nothing really overly fancy. The gemelli al rab, I love. Make sure you put some sausage in it. That kicks it up a notch. The entrees, the branzino, incredible. The zuppa de pesce, I love. The veal parmesan is a signature dish. Bone-in, veal chop, pounded thin, breaded, beautiful sauce, buffalo mozzarella. It's incredible. You got to have it. But believe it or not, and I was blown away because finally one day, I eat this so many times, I wanted to try everything on the menu once. I had the bone-in New York steak, and I got to tell you what, for an Italian joint, it was one of the best steaks I had, seasoned and cooked to perfection. They sliced it. Oh, man, it was outrageous. But if you want
what cup was that
New York
steak?
Italian, what's that?
What
Kansas
cup was
City.
steak?
Yeah, bone-in New York, Kansas City.
Gotcha.
But a traditional New York dish that I love, you don't see it hardly anywhere. It was cherry pepper, double thick pork chop with Italian cherry peppers on it, just like Nona used to make. Absolutely amazing. You get to dessert, they bring out a tray of Italian cookies. And honestly, by the time you get done eating an appetizer, a salad, an entree, you have room for dessert. But the Italian cookies are magical. They bring a bottle of limoncello to the table. The touches that are long lost in our world. But Carbone brings it back. But two desserts, if you have room, you got to have the Italian almond cream cake in Spain, and then a cassata, which is like a pound cake with a chocolate regatta on top and stuff. Absolutely incredible. Carbone's amazing. If you go there, ask for Bonnie. Tell her the wine czar sent you. You'll have the time of your life. The place is amazing. I can't wait for it to open up as soon as the Aria opens up, and hopefully that'll be in the next month. That's all I got from Vegas. I'll be there this weekend. You'll hear the screams all the way from Las Vegas.
All right. Thank you, Kenny. After this break, we'll be talking to Bob Sambol from Bob's Steak and Chop.
Well, welcome back to the Crave Show. And today we have a very, very special guest. He is connected to all three of us here at the show in some really incredible ways. He's one of the greatest restaurateurs that I know in the entire world, not just the country. He's a legend of steak. It's my good friend, Bob Sambol.
Hey, Kenny, how are you?
I'm doing great, Bob. How are you, brother?
Good.
Man, it is good to see you. So tell us what's going on with Bob's. And, obviously everybody knows it's iconic. You're the Bob behind Bob's. Tell me what's going on in Highland Park, first and foremost.
Well, I got back here a year ago, March, and we had a great first year. Came back. Business went up drastically. We were rolling in January and February, and then boom, Corona hit. So we immediately started doing takeout and delivery. We did that the best way we could. It was hard. We're not really built for that. And then a few weeks ago we got to reopen, and that's been going great. I mean, we're slowly building. People are just dying to come back to eat in a restaurant. The customers are in fantastic moods. They're generous. We just need more demand. For us, as you know, Kenny, we make our money Monday through Thursday with businessmen. Guys flying in town, you're meeting with them Thursday, they fly in Wednesday night, you have a big dinner at Bob's, drinks, steaks, wine. Well, that's not happening. There's nobody's flying in town, and the local guys are sitting in their pajamas at home on a Zoom meeting. So they're not leaving their office to go have drinks and dinner. So we're still missing that, and that's very slowly coming back. But business has been growing, and like I said, I am so just incredibly encouraged by the customers. The customers just happy to be back in a restaurant.
They're happy to see you too.
Yeah, listen. I don't really believe in 100% table visitation. I think there are tables that really don't care who I am or don't want to be bothered. But I make a point of telling everybody, hey, how is everything? Thank you for coming in. I think it's God's way of telling us all that we didn't appreciate what we had. So right. I'm just doing the best I can in doing that. And I know a lot of my fellow restaurant operators are doing the same. We all got kicked in the, excuse the language, we got kicked in the nuts a little bit, and it's time to get better at what we do. The crazy bad part, and it's a sad bad part, is half the restaurants in Dallas aren't going to reopen.
Right.
The independents aren't built for this. And the chains are going to look at those outlets that were unprofitable or marginally profitable and say, what the hell are we opening those for? And there's going to be plenty of people looking for jobs. So we're all trying to upgrade our staff and get better, because there's a lot of good people without a job right now.
How are you staffing right now? I know the unemployment thing is kind of beneficial for some.
We got a few people that decided that they'd rather sit on their ass and collect $1,100. So the government's going to correct that and try to give people the extra money for coming back to work, which I hope happens soon. And my feeling is, okay, you don't want to come back, that's your prerogative. But I swear, and you can ask them, I'm going to take good care of those people who did come back.
Right.
And every one of our kitchen guys came back, and when we were only doing takeout, they were making half their pay. And, everybody wants to criticize immigrants coming to this country. We don't need any more. Baloney. They're hardworking people who care about their job, and they stuck by me, and we need those people. And listen, you find out who your friends are through tough times, but you find out who your good employees are through tough times. And a few of them honestly surprised me that they really were much better than I thought, and a few surprised me that didn't step it up. But overall, I think we're going to be okay. It's going to be maybe a year or two before the businessman comes back. But I think I look towards July 4th. Usually Memorial Day signifies our slow time. Well, I think a lot less people are going away, so we won't be as slow this summer. I don't know. You can listen. You can analyze this thing till it choke it, and we're just doing our best every night. See what happens.
Very good. Bob, I got a question for you. I went to a supermarket the other day to get a choice ribeye. It was $16.99 a pound. I screamed at the butcher, like, how dare you? This used to be $5.99 a pound, 3 months ago. What's the price of beef like in the prime world?
Prime rolls is great. A year ago, it was way higher.
Really?
Yeah, because the prime market isn't. There's no demand. The restaurants are closed, so
Right.
there's plenty of prime right now. Plenty of prime.
Very, very cool. Well,
yeah, there's a choice dilemma because everybody's sitting home eating choice meat.
yeah. Well, that makes sense. All right. Well, I may have you send me a couple of cases of steaks next week.
Absolutely,
Because I can't take it anymore.
Just if you can Venmo that money first, that'd be great.
All right, well,
There's no trucks dropping beef.
Hey, Bob. It's Lisa. I wanted
Lisa.
to ask, because you have one of the most loyal staffs probably in restaurants in all of Dallas. You have people who've worked for you since the inception of Bob's. You have servers who've been on the floor who have grown up around you, who have started families, who've graduated from college, who have done, monumental things under your wing. Was it hard to let those people know that they were going to be furloughed or laid off? And what was the response from your loyal staff?
Well, yeah, it was painful. It really was. It was. We try to work with them as best we can and made sure everybody applied for unemployment that could. And then, when we got our PPP money, we made sure everybody who needed money got it. And but you're exactly right, Lisa. It was painful for a few of us, and some of those young ladies' husbands haven't gone back to work yet, and it's been a painful process for sure.
I did all of those things I just said working at Bob's. I finished college, I got married, I had a baby, and I started my career all while working there. And one of the things that allowed me to do that is that Bob always said, your family comes first, your education, and Bob's comes next. And it's always great and a little bit remarkable too to come back to Bob's and see so many familiar faces. But I think that is such a testament to the environment that you've created that allow people to prioritize family and education. And also just a testament to working for you and the loyalty involved in that. So I can imagine that was tough.
Yeah, it was tough, but we're going to make it through as a group, and it's actually working out okay now. Thank you.
Good.
That's awesome. Well, Bob, I'm going to take you down memory lane here in a little bit. Before I do, I just want everybody to know that everything I learned in the restaurant business, I learned from this man. I had the pleasure of working with him at Bob's. And what people don't know, he's also the king of hot dogs, because he had Hoffman's Hut after Bob's, and then he launched Trinity Grove's, an incubator concept that was incredible. I loved it last time we had lunch there, Bob. It's just an amazing development. And then, of course, back in the steakhouse. But there's a lot of people who do not know what I'm about to reveal on this show. Steve, will you put that picture up, please?
Okay, I'll try.
Okay, here we go. Technical difficulties. Come on.
Hang on.
Come on.
I don't know what this is.
I don't either.
Oh, you're going to know.
Very
go.
incriminating.
Oh, the pickle throwing contest. Yeah. God, look at that head of hair, and it was all black, both of us.
You look pretty much the same, Bob.
We were once young.
You look like a couple of wise guys.
Yeah, look at that. You look like something from what do you call it? Goodfellas there in the back there.
Bob, you look very much the same.
Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah,
and what I want to discuss is that a lot of people in that restaurant challenged Bob and I into pickle tossing. Two guys from New York were not going to lose the pickle tossing championship, and that picture proves it. We still have the title to this day, #1 rated pickle throwers in the USA, take on all challengers.
That's too funny. So, okay, so Ken went through your history a little bit. You went to Trinity Groves. You did a bunch of great things there, and you really did. You put that on the map. But tell me how you got back in to take over your restaurant again.
Well, what happened was, I was gone for a while, 7 or 8 years, and the people, everybody knows the story, and all the freestanding Bobs were owned by different people, and the people that had this one weren't really doing very well with it. And they, was smart enough to know that I would probably pay more than anybody else. So they came to me and said, "You want to buy it back?" And I did.
Yeah.
I got it, and it worked out great. So it's just it was it took a little while to figure it out, and I'm just at Bob's on Lemmon, and it's not anything to do with the other Bobs, although we have a great relationship, Omni and I. So it was kind of amazing. I got to be honest with you. There were times when I first got back here that I would just walk around when no one else was here, and just really I started, because this restaurant was the site of my best and worst moments as a human being. And so when Stephen, you've had your ups and downs, Kenny, and you've had them too. And, sometimes when you get reminded of them, I think as you get older, you kind of appreciate them more. And I've never been happier in my life. I love being back here.
I was so elated when I heard the news that you're taking the restaurant back over again.
It just feels so good. It just it's hard work, and I love it. This is what God put me on earth for. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be running a restaurant,
right.
And this restaurant, and I love it. And man, I'm the luckiest guy in the world. No one's luckier than me.
We're proud of you. Really are.
Thank you.
It's an amazing story.
Well, listen, before we go any farther, we got two guys on this phone call that, like I said, have had our ups and downs, and you guys are good guys. And, here we are. How many years ago did we do the Crave radio show from the place on the tollway? How many years ago was that?
7 years ago, Bob.
Wow. Huh?
Yeah. Isn't that
Who would have
incredible?
thought we'd be doing this, huh? And I'd be
right.
sitting with my very glamorous office in the background here, and it's great. It's just it's good stuff.
I think I've been sick for a while, but I think the last time I saw you was at your anniversary party, which you had not taken over a restaurant yet. Did you know then that you were?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I did. No, I knew we were talking. That was October. And I didn't make the deal till December or January, but we kind of began the talks then, and I had to decide whether I wanted to do it or not.
Right.
At one point I thought, I shouldn't do it. I just need to move on, and that was it. And then I'm very fortunate. I made a list. Kenny, you're going to love this one. So I needed money to do this. And so I made a list of people to go see about being an investor. It's a great lesson for anybody who's looking for restaurant investing money. I had a chef come to me yesterday, wanted some advice on this. So I said, well, no one was luckier than me. I said, so I made a list, and the first guy on the list was a good friend of mine, Dave Johnson, owns a company called Aimbridge Hospitality. They own and manage 1,400 hotels in 50 states and 20 countries. He's the biggest hotel management company in the world. I run into Dave first. I said, hey, man, good to see you. Hey, I got to talk to you. He said, okay, what do you want to talk about? I said, hey, I got a chance to buy the original Bob's back on Lemmon. Oh, man, that's great. God, that'd be so awesome. And I said, well, I'm trying to put the deal together. Here's how much I need, and here's how I think it should be structured. And so he's looking at the paper, and he goes, yeah, this looks good. This looks good. I said, well, you interested? He says, yeah, I'm interested. Well, how much can I count you in for? Oh, no, I'll take it all. I don't want anybody else in this. He said, yeah, I'm going to give you the name and phone number of my attorney. Give me about till 3:00 tomorrow to tell him about this, and then call him and he'll figure it out. I said, wait a minute. You going to take it all? Oh, yeah. He said, listen, outside of my core business, I invest in people, not businesses. So I'm invested in you. I think it's a pretty good bet. So we're partners. He shook my hand. 20 minutes later, I had the money.
Wow.
And so his attorney calls me I called the attorney the next day. Oh, yeah, Dave called me, told me you were going to call. I said, well, did he send it? Yeah, he scanned the paper and gave me all the information. He just, the only other question he wants to know is, when do you want the money? I said, whoa, shit. I mean, yeah, that's great. I mean, yeah, I mean, you could send it now, but I said, well, just hold on to it. I knew that it's better I don't have it right now. And so it's just amazing how that all worked out. So I have a great partner who's been incredibly.
That's a great story.
Yeah, incredibly encouraging, even through this. I mean, we talk about a guy who's been kicked in the pants from this COVID deal. But he's been a wonderful partner, so I got fortunate there too.
Very cool. So, Bob, let me ask you a question: Is this one and done, or do you have plans outside of Bob's to make more moves?
You know, I had announced that I was doing a restaurant in Fort Worth, right across the street from TCU. A bunch of my buddies are developers, and unfortunately, because of COVID, I'm not going to go through with it right now. And I think I'm going to stick with this one, Kenny. I really do.
Yeah.
I think this is I'm really happy doing this. 66 years old. I want to enjoy my life. I'm playing golf 3-4 days a week. You know, I'm just trying to enjoy my life, and it's best that I just make one great. If I can listen, I'll be honest with you. I took this place over. It was doing 4.2 million. I got it to 5 the first year. We were 30% up from the previous year in January and February, and then COVID hit. If I can get this place back to $7 or $8 million, then what do I need another one? What do I need another one for?
Right. Yeah, especially when you can play golf 3-4 days a week. You know.
Yeah, I mean, and just enjoy my life.
Balance.
Yeah, it really is.
Absolutely. So, I got to ask you a question. I mean, with the 50% occupancy, how does that work at the bar, Bob?
The occupancy number isn't the issue. It's demand. We're at 50%. We took half the bar stools out. After 2 weeks, we moved them back because people want them. So people are real courteous. They'll say, "Hey, do you mind if we sit here?" Right. So it's fine. 50% is fine. And Governor Abbott's going to 75 next Friday.
Oh, very cool. Now, is Emma still behind the bar?
No, Emma left a while ago. She's a full-time dog trainer.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, and do you still have the special drink that most people don't know about Bob's? I believe it was served in a styrofoam cup. It was 5 or 8 shots of J&B. Do you still serve that?
It's only if you're a slime ball, a certified slime ball, a degenerate piece of trash. Can you order that?
Now that's an inside story for another time on the show. Yeah. But I had to ask Bob because I almost lost my life because of that drink a couple of times.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Very cool. Well,
real quick. You know, the question we have to ask, which everybody asks you, I'm sure. Carrot.
What's with the carrot?
You told us the carrot story before.
You know the carrot story.
I want to hear the carrot. The listeners want to hear the carrot story.
Okay. So when we always wanted to serve potato and vegetable, and so we messed around when we first opened with a lot of different vegetables, and people didn't eat it. They ate it. 50% of people ate it. So I'm sitting around with my chef, James Rose, and we had nothing much to do because we had no customers. And I said, we got to come up with a better vegetable. I said, my mother used to make me this Jewish dish called simmus where we had glazed carrots in it. I'm going to get the recipe from my sister and get it. And we started doing the glazed carrot, and it kind of stuck. Became my signature deal. A lot of food critics think it's terrible that I have something sweet on the plate, but we're kind of known for our carrot.
Sure.
That's magical.
That's the carrot story.
There you go.
It's magical.
And my best friend, Samir, the chef at Nick and Sam's, he always likes to make fun of my carrot. But, it's what we're known for.
He brings you a big bag once in a while, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah. He sent me when we opened, he sent a 50-pound bag of carrots as a gift. And we had it on the median there in the front, Kenny, and maybe 100 people took pictures by it. And then our 1-year anniversary back, he sent me another 50-pound bag.
That's classic.
So I told him I let it sit out there for a couple of weeks and I'd take it in the kitchen and use them.
Well, you want a picture of Bob? No, take a picture of the
carrot. Yeah.
That's funny. That's too funny.
Well, Bob, we want to thank you for your time tonight. You're an iconic restaurateur. Your dad was a restaurateur. You came up in this business, and I always loved your stories about your time in Miami and how you even got Bob's together in the first place. And what a roller coaster ride, man. It's amazing. Was so happy for you. And I'm proud to call you a friend and a guy that I admire and respect. And thank you for being on the show. And we're definitely going to have you back on soon. And on my next trip to Dallas, I'll be eating that New York steak with a glazed carrot.
Yeah, listen, absolutely. And Stephen, next time you're around town, please come in. And Lisa, you're always it's always nice when you walk in the door.
I'll be there soon, and I have some more Pro V1 golf balls for you.
Well, listen, and I want to tell you, I was bragging to Bennett Glazer about you a few weeks ago when last time you came in. I was very impressed on the way you presented your wines that you wanted us to buy. And I saw Bennett the next day at the gym, and I was bragging about you, is that you really become a very polished salesperson, and you kind of stick out in your industry. So congratulations to you.
That's a hell of a compliment, Bob. Thank you.
We're really proud to have Lisa on the show. She's invaluable.
She knows her stuff. Don't let Kenny, Lisa, don't let Kenny give you one of those crazy stories that he made up about wine and everything. Don't listen to anything he says.
Right.
Just remember, Bob, she learned everything from me, and I'm still the #1 rated wine czar in the state of Texas.
He's wine czar, yeah.
Hey, Kenny, give me a call next week. Let's talk.
Yeah, I got some catching up to do with you, man.
All
Sounds
right.
like a plan. Hey, Bob,
thanks for having me on, Stephen. I appreciate it.
In fact, I'll see you in about 2 weeks.
Please do. Come visit.
Okay. All right.
See you
Bye,
guys.
Bob. Good night.
Bye.
Hit them long and straight, Bob.